I'm Mark Boris, and this is Straight Talk.
Looking for Suaalii. Oh, my goodness.
Joseph Akuso Suaalii, welcome to Straight Talk, mate. Obviously, they headhunted you because someone who may be able to save the side. Do you feel pressure?
The reason I wanted to go was always I wanted to play in a Lions tour. I still remember to this day. As a kid, I watched it on TV and I was like, all right, this is what I want to do one day.
Do you think it'll encourage other younger blokes to continue on the rugby union path?
You know what? I hope when we do play this spring tour and the Lions tour and a Home World Cup, I feel like a lot of kids are going to be inspired to play in a green and gold jersey or Waratahs jersey. I feel like that's probably the biggest thing for Australian rugby.
You did get selected for Origin. You had one game of Origin. It didn't last that long. Can we just quickly talk about that? What actually happened? Joseph Akuso Suaalii. Get that right, mate, didn't I?
Yeah, you can say
I've been practicing all morning, mate.
all morning.
I want to get it right. Otherwise, nickname at the Roosters at least. Sue, welcome to Straight Talk, mate.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
It's cool. Really cool. So we got you on this show. You're mid-training now. You're in the Wallabies, not in the Wallabies. They haven't announced anything at least. Unless you
actually announced it, an hour ago. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
and you in the side?
Yeah, in the side.
Awesome.
Yeah,
That's so cool.
I know. Yeah, I was actually stoked. Yeah, family were calling. Everyone was happy.
Oh, mad.
Yeah, everyone was over the moon.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I know. Honestly, like the season's just finished and just straight into. We had a camp on Monday, Tuesday last week, and then just straight into it.
I knew you were in the camp.
Yeah,
I didn't realize it was. So it's just been announced. Oh man, that's mad.
Yeah.
How you feeling?
Yeah, good. Like it's actually crazy. Like I was saying before, like it's the whole year. I was just looking at like this time now. I've been reflecting a lot over like the last 4 years, and especially this year as well. And then how everything just honestly has gone so fast. Like it's gone way too fast. Like just to kind of even now just being in the Wallaby squad, I'm just like just stoked and just
What position did they call you out?
There's no position. Like, I haven't had a proper position where I've been training or anything like that.
Would it announce 20 or what did they announce?
I think
squad.
How many is it? I know there's two squads. There's a Wallabies A, like Wallabies A, and then the Wallabies that are going on a spring tour. So,
yep.
I'm not sure how many in the squad. But
do you have any idea where you might be playing that?
I think I spoke to the coach like 13, 15. That's where like I'll be training, and then just see where I would go from there. But,
for our audience, what does 13, 15 play?
So 13's outside centre, and then 15's a fullback.
Right.
So,
do you have a preference?
Not really, to be honest. Like I grew up playing 13, 15 wing. I've always played like a lot of positions growing up in union. A bit different in league. I played like growing up in league. I honestly just played fullback 5'8". That was it. I never ever played in the centre or wing. It was always fullback 5'8", like the spine position. So that was good.
So I'd like to go back a little bit. So a lot of people do know you, but a lot of people don't know you. A lot of people know you. They know of you now. But let's go back to young Joseph, going back years ago. You're only 21. I think you're only 21, aren't you?
Yeah, 21. Yeah.
Let's go back to when you're at Penrith before you went off to Kings. So, what's the deal? Like, your dad's Samoan.
Yep.
From Samoa, or
yeah.
Born in Samoa.
Yeah, born there. Yep.
Yeah. So your dad, and he's married to your mum, obviously, but your mum's background is what?
Cambodian Australian.
Yeah. Okay. So that's an unusual mix.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. So my old man, he come over from Samoa when he was maybe 12 or 13, quite young. And mum was brought up in Australia, grew up here. Her grandpa came over from Cambodia when he was like maybe 20 or 21. And then I think like the Vietnam War happened over there, and then he couldn't go back, so he ended up just staying here. And then my parents ended up meeting at a train station out Kingswood. Yeah, I think Kingswood train station.
Kingswood, where we got a club out there actually.
Yeah, Kingswood train station. I think they met. So yeah, and then from
so
there,
were you a Penrith junior?
Yep, Penrith junior. Growing up, played under fours. Started at St Mary's, and then under fives at Brothers, and then from there just played at Glenmore Park. Yeah, Glenmore Park Brumbies.
Did your dad play footy in Samoa?
Yeah, he did. He played. Well, he actually played a little bit over here too. But he had my sister quite young, at maybe 17 or 18. He had my sister, and then from there he just kind of just stopped playing footy and looked after the kids. Yeah, he's looking after the kids. So.
And is your mum sporty?
Yeah, she played a bit of volleyball and that a little bit growing up, but she always says that. No, my old man always says that I get more athletic ability from him, but mum's quietly in the background saying, "No, it's from me."
So who do you look more like though? Like I mean,
Actually, I look like my mum a lot.
Yeah.
But my old man, he's like short and like stocky, so yeah, I don't look like my dad at all.
So where'd you get your height from?
Yeah, it's weird. My uncles are all tall. So my dad's like, he's real short. And then you look at my like uncles, they're all like tall. Like they're all like 6'3", 6'4". And then my old man's like way under 6 foot.
But solid.
Yeah. He's like, short
He's
stocky.
built.
Yeah, he's built. Yeah,
he's built, totally built. So that's a pretty unusual combination, by the way, of two totally different backgrounds.
Yeah.
And what do you think that culturally you get from that? Let's put sport aside, footy aside. But just put culturally, what do you get out of mum being from Asian background, your dad being from Pacific Islands?
I think from like Pacific Islands, I get a lot of that. Just being very proud of like family where I'm from. Sometimes like what can you say? Very like outgoing. I can be outgoing, but from my mum's side, mum's very intrinsic. Same as my grandpa's very intrinsic, very soft spoken kind of thing like that. So I feel like I've got a good balance between both.
Bit of yin and yang.
Yeah, a bit of yin and yang, but yeah, I feel like I get a bit of both from like that outgoing, and then when I'm at home, when I'm comfortable around people, I feel like I'm very out there, and say we go out, like I dance around and stuff like that. But
you got your own band. Well, you're in the band with Joey.
Joey runs that. Yeah, that's Joey who runs that. So we do a little bit of that, but I feel like culturally, I still want to learn a little bit more about my Cambodian side. I feel like I haven't really tapped into that a lot. My old man used to try to teach me like Samoan and stuff when I was growing up, but I just didn't listen. I wish I did.
It's interesting, Joe, because like I come from a mixed background like that too, and one always not dominates, but one ends up usually where the most people are. Like my dad's side's got more family, bigger family. It just sort of dilutes my mother's side, but as I when I started again, I just become much more interested in the Irish part of it. But do you think that is it because your dad's side's a much bigger family? Because, and by the way, Samoans, Pacific Islanders generally. I mean, I wasn't aware of this, and pardon me for my ignorance, but I always knew that Pacific Islanders generally are very family oriented. But when we had recently out of the stadium, we got all the guys who were leaving and their parents and their wives or kids and brothers and sisters and stuff like that. I got like blown away by the importance of family amongst all you guys in our side, just in our team, particularly the ones and particularly the ones who are leaving. And there's a few like you and Jared, etc. And what you've sort of looks like to me, you've dragged along the Aussie guys as well, like to sort of participate the same way. Teddy's got his wife and family there, and Kiri's got his family. Like, and it's sort of like they've seen you guys with your family elements, and actually you brought the best out in them. And I don't want to. And Rad's the same. I don't want to overplay it, but do you see that like?
Yeah, a little bit. You could say, especially with my family, like every NRL game I've played, they've been at every single game. Like even my aunties, my uncles, my like extended family, like they've come to every single game. Like even we play in Brizzy, they'll drive all the way to Brizzy to come watch. Even in Melbourne, they'll all drive down.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's just like you always feel that support kind of thing as you're playing. It's very. Like I don't really say much to my family. Obviously I'll say thanks for coming and stuff like that. But it's a big thing when you're playing, knowing that your family's in the crowd somewhere. Sometimes you don't see them when you run out, but yeah, it's weird. It's like you can't really put words to it kind of thing. But it's very
comforting.
Yeah, comforting. Yeah, like that. If my mum and dad are in the crowd and my cousins and all that, 40,000 people are going to be in the stands, but that the people that you're playing for and why you're doing it are there. It's very comforting.
Because it's funny, and again, it's sort of mostly this year I've noticed it more than I ever noticed before. And it's not just us; it's they do it at Penrith, etc. but I've noticed, and I don't know, what is it, lei? What's that? The thing they put around your necks at the end of the game.
I should know what it's called.
But you know the thing I'm talking about. It's sort of like a wreath, but it's not a wreath. It's a lei or something like that. And it's got lollies or something. What's it got on there?
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, it's a lot of like lollies. It's just like I thought it was like a celebration. Yeah, a lot of colors. Sometimes they put, like Tongans put their culture, like their like symbols and stuff behind it. Samoans might do that the same. I feel like it's like someone graduates from school, they'll do it after a big game, a milestone. Like Satili played his 100th game and his whole family come down and suddenly his whole neck was filled up.
It was awesome.
Yeah, it was awesome. It's good. I feel like it's funny because the aunties would stay overnight just doing it. It takes a long time to even do one.
They hand make it.
Yeah, hand make it. Yeah, and it takes a long time. So I feel like that's just getting special from your aunties, your uncles, and then every loved one would come and give you one. So, and then most of the boys, then you give one to the boys, kind of thing like that. So it's just like sharing love around.
I've never really noticed it before. This year it seemed to be much more prevalent. I saw Penrith doing it as well, and I saw Spencer's family do it too. So just maybe you just for my sake explain to me: is there much difference? You mentioned Tongan. Is there much difference between Samoan and Tongan cultures?
Yeah, they're based around the same like family, religion. It's based around the same things, but it's weird. Like it's
competitive.
Yeah, it's very competitive. It's very competitive, but at the end of the day, we love each other. Yeah. But it's very competitive at the same time. Like between Tongans and Samoans, it's like you grow up. And like you're a proud Samoan, like you know what I mean. You're going against a Tongan, you're like, no, Samoa's better, kind of thing like that. It's always like that kind of thing. But at the end of the day, like when we come back together, it's like we're like brothers at the end of the day.
Yeah, totally. And because what we in Australia originally only ever knew was Maori, and it's probably been over the last 10 years we started to become and I guess also with the Pacific Islands matches that have been played, like they're being played at the moment. Australians never really thought about Fijians as rugby league players or as a real big culture, or Samoan or Tongan or Cook Islands for that matter. We just looked at Maori. But what's become a really important part of our culture now, in rugby league at least, is all of them. And there may even be more that I haven't named. I don't know anymore, but there may be more that I haven't named. As a kid growing up, were you aware of that when you were living out of Penrith? Or was it just normal out there?
Well, there was a lot of like Pacific Islanders. Yeah, that was just normal growing out where I grew up, like Western Sydney. There's a lot of everyone. My old man's like he grew up in Mount Druitt. Well, that's what a lot of Pacific Islanders are. I feel like when you play footy, you're going against like Pacific Islanders. These boys are big. Like I'm saying, I was big as well when I was growing up. But yeah, I feel like it was just everywhere I went, because my aunties and uncles would live around the corner. I was just brought up in that that,
like a village.
Yeah, village kind of thing like that. And then like obviously friends, like Dad's work friends would be Pacific Islanders, and then it was just always around that Pacific Islander. Even going to church growing up as well, it was always around like Pacific Islanders. So it was just normal kind of thing like that.
So when I read somewhere that were you a high jumper?
Yeah, I was.
I can't remember, like 15 or something like that.
Yeah, no. So it was actually I started doing high jump when maybe like year 4, year 5, and then year 6, like in primary school. 12 years old.
Yeah,
12 years old. And I honestly was just doing it just to get days off school.
Yeah, but you were good at it though.
Yeah, I was all right.
I can't imagine you trying to jump over anything now. You'd be a bit too big.
I know.
Were you a skinny kid?
Yeah, I was. I was always like maybe year 4. Going into year 5, I hit like a growth spurt, and I went up to, honestly, I was like 6'3", like straight away. Yeah, straight away, like year 5 and year 6.
That's before you're in high school.
Yeah, before high school, I had like Yeah, I know, because I was just like a normal, like honestly, I was just normal height, like skinny bone kid, and then I think going like year 5, year 6 around there, I shot up straight to 6'3". My shoe size went straight to 14, and I was just my mum was like, "Oh, what's going on?" Like I was
better
eating
get him
so
to
much
the doctor.
food.
There's something wrong with
him.
him.
I know, I was eating that much food. It was crazy. I was like, I still remember at home, I was just like eating everything, and then it shot up, and then I was 6'3".
So were you always athletic at that point, or
I was always like nippy fast.
Quick,
I was always around like footy ball. Like my old man and I used to like I don't know, who kicked the ball like all day. Like honestly, we just any type of ball, like basketball, was just always like I was always out and about. I was always just like full of energy. I'm not sure if I had anything wrong with me, but I was always just like always outside, just like just trying to do something. Yeah, so I was always like that as a kid.
Were you playing footy in the Penrith comp? Rugby league and rugby union, or just one of the other?
Rugby league, and I started playing union to get days off school. Like, honestly, in that year
this
5 and
before
6.
Kings?
Yeah, before Kings in like year 5 and 6. Went to a school, primary school in Glenmore Park called Regionville Public School. And then, it was funny because I'll just, there's like a thing where you make like New South Wales PWSA teams, and like, so if you make a district team, you get 1 day off. If you make
Stateside.
like ours was Sydney West,
right?
You get 3 days off. And then if you made the New South Wales team, you get a week off. And then in year 5, I made like union and league. And then in year 6, I made league, union, basketball, athletics, and AFL. And then I was in contention for touch, but then I couldn't because one of them crossed over. And then it was funny. I'm actually shout out to my primary school teacher because she actually helped me big time because I wasn't even at school. Like I wasn't even at school.
Exercise
I was
training.
always out. Like I was always playing, and we always used to have to travel, and then always get back at the sit down and study, and then. Yeah, it's honestly like it was actually one of the best times of my life doing that, just like traveling around the States and stuff like that. It was actually, great fun.
So how'd you end up at Kings? Because that's a pretty expensive joint and a pretty sort of elite place to get educated.
Yeah, it was actually funny. We trained in year 6 at Kings, and I said to my mum walking away from the school, I was like, Mum, like I want to go here, and my mum knew straight away. She was like, she kind of not laughed at me, but she's always given me like belief and faith. She's always been like, son, like it's gonna cost like $60,000 a year, like to go to one of these schools. And then me being oblivious, I'm like, nah, I'm gonna like I've always had that thing. I'm like, nah, I'm gonna do it. Like this is what I want to do. And then anyway, I applied at different schools. Like I applied to Scots, Newington, I think as well. And Scots gave me a scholarship, like maybe like not a full scholarship, but my parents we still couldn't afford it. Anyway, then I enrolled into my primary, like my local high school, which was like Jamison High School, and then maybe
That's a sporting school.
Oh, I don't think it is. I think it's just like
just local state school.
Yeah, local state school. And then I was in my head still. I was like, still just no. I want to go to one of these schools. And then maybe like 2 weeks before orientation, the Penasinis, Will Penasini, he's at Parramatta. He was starting year 8 at Kings, and they dropped my name saying like, oh, there's a kid, who wants to come here, like blah blah blah. He plays a bit of sport and stuff like that. I feel like he can be, benefit to the school. And then I did my interview, and then honestly, maybe then on the day I went for orientation at Kings, like I didn't have any uniform or nothing, rocked up, put a uniform on, and I was just gone, just like that. It was just like, honestly crazy. But the school's just, the King's School is honestly one of the best things that's happened to my family and all.
Yeah, no, it's well, and of course, everyone heard about you. I remember stories. I don't know. I don't even know if they're true or not. Like the kid in year 9, he's playing the first 15. And I don't know. Were you?
Yeah,
stuff like that.
Yeah, like I played first basketball in year 7.
Year 7.
Yeah, year 7. I played first basketball in year 7. It was it was cool. It was. When looking back on it now, I'm just like. A lot of things I could do back when I was younger. It was just like, just off, just having fun. Just like, obviously hard work too. My old man, we used to always train a lot as well. But it was just like, I feel like I was very gifted as a young kid. But as well, I always had that, that hard work as well. And then, played, year 7 played first basketball, and then, year 9 played first rugby.
Oh, so that's true. You were
true. I was playing, first rugby, first in year 9 as well. So.
Yeah. And how much do you think playing rugby league in your early years actually helped you at schoolboy level to play first in rugby union when apart from the fact you're bigger than every other boy in year 9, I guess, but how much skill do you get to play in rugby league relative to helping you play at the top level, at school level in rugby union?
I feel like obviously you got the ball, like the skill and the toughness of, you got to play rugby league, but I feel like the different sports of like basketball, AFL, growing up, even, league helped, even playing union all helped me find how I could play different sports by, just taking different parts of different sports into different things I played.
So you borrow from skills that
Yeah.
you learn from different sports
Yeah.
for the particular sport you might be playing on the particular day.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. I'd always, I feel like you subconsciously just pick up on different skills and see, different ways of doing things on a footy field, a basketball court, and just apply it to whatever sport I was playing. I feel like that helped me quite a bit. Played at a young age, played first 15 at a young age. I feel like that helped a lot.
So most people wouldn't realise, but I mean, what, 6'5", what are you, 190 something?
Yeah, probably like, I reckon 6'4", 6'5".
Yeah.
Yeah, around there, yeah.
And what do you weigh?
Like 103, 104. Yeah.
So that's like a perfect weight for an outside back, and in rugby union or rugby league.
Yeah.
Were you sort of always around those sorts of high 90s when you were at school?
Yeah, like when I was in year 9, I was around, like 90, like around there, like just under 90 kind of thing like that. I was very tall.
15.
Yeah, I was very tall and like skinny kind of thing. Yeah. And then just like slowly just built muscle, yeah.
Because one of the things, I watch you play every week for the last couple of years, but like one of the things I noticed is that you just run at people. You don't seem to give a shit, and you run flat out. There's no in between for Joseph. Like he's sort of, some guys will change their speed at a certain point. You just, when you get the ball, you just got the ball and you're going straight for it. And whoever on the other side has to tackle you. Were you always like that as a player, as a young bloke?
It's actually funny. Like, as a kid growing up, I was always playing like fullback 5'8", so I was always used to like, using my hands, especially, when I was younger too. Like, I was always just using my hands, stepping.
More creative
growing up. I feel like, coming into the Roosters system, it's all about, like power game. Power game's the first thing, and then play off that kind of thing. And then I come in as a winger. I was like 17, 18. And then at the start, I was like, I remember like, Jazz's like, come on, run the ball hard.
There's
like,
Jared Hargraves.
Yeah. You got to get the, play the ball. Like, and I'm like, I'll do anything for the team. That's my always for the mentality. I've always had that, anything for the team. And I never used to run the ball like growing up. I'd always
fast and direct.
Yeah, fast and direct. I'd always be like, step, blah, 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 like do like all this fancy stuff. And then, I don't know. I think when I was like, my first year and second year in NRL, I was just like, all right, I'm just going to pin my ears back and just go. Like every time I get the ball, just get like, especially in yardage, I was always like, I don't care who it is. Like, it's either going to go at him or the gap or, and just try to get that quick play ball for the team. And then, I feel like I just kind of, built that reputation coming in and then, kind of just stuck.
Well, everybody wanted you at, I think you were 18 or 17. I think everyone was having a crack for you because I remember hearing about it, in various meetings in our club. And of course, Roosters was successful in the end. What does that do to a kid when you're, 17 years of age and, people throwing money around, you're in demand? How do you keep yourself in check? Like, from a ego point of view, and I will say straight up, you never displayed any ego. We never saw it. But is that your parents or is that your upbringing? What's the deal?
Yeah, I think parents. I think parents was the big one. Or even the school I was at. Like, it was actually the school played a big role. You're
still at school?
Yeah, I was still at school. Like, because I was boarding at school. I was living there, so I was always around my good mates, my best mates. I'd always, like, sometimes I'd go back on the weekend. I always see my family. It was weird. It was a weird dynamic because I was always in the media, but at school at the same time. So I was just like, I always knew there was a lot of talk around myself, but to be honest, when I look back on it, I don't really know how I dealt with it. It was just like, all right, next job, like kind of thing like that. It was just like, I knew what path I wanted to go on, and I was all right with that because I always knew, like, I was like, all right, I want to play in the NRL when I'm 17. Like, I've always had this thing in my mind. It's like, nah, like, I want to do this kind of thing. And from there, it's just always just been, all right, I'm going to do that. Then my next thing. And then,
do you read the papers though?
When I was first coming in, like, maybe I think I was in the papers when I was like maybe 13 or 14. They were saying like I was the next Folau coming through.
I remember that. Yeah.
And I was like, at the start, it was exciting. I was like, oh, cool. This is pretty cool being in the paper and stuff like that.
Well, especially being sort of compared to him.
Yeah. Straight away, because I loved him growing up. I was like, this is like one of my idols. I was like, oh, this is cool. Like being in the paper for the first time, and then it's now it's like, all right, it's been a couple of times now, and you're just like, now like the pressure's starting to come into your head, kind of thing like that, and you're like, you're thinking about it a little bit, and then you're just like, I think at the time I was just, how would I say I was dealing with it? I was honestly just, staying with family. They were always, keeping me grounded.
What would they say to you? I mean, your dad's
my parents don't really say a lot. They're very comforting, like the way, like just their presence there is very like comforting. But I've never had my parents. They don't talk a lot. They're very, how could you say it? Very loving people. I think just the love from them to myself always. I just knew that
that's enough.
That's enough. That's all I needed.
Yeah.
That kept me comfort, just to, just keep on playing footy, just loving the game, things like that. I think that really helped me a lot.
We're able to get you exempted to play underage. Well, that's called underage, but earlier than most. When your first game, did anyone? Who was your first game against?
Broncos.
Did anyone of the Broncos say, "Welcome to first grade, kid," and give you a good clip?
Oh no, it wasn't. Not really. Honestly, it happened like a blur. Like my first NRL game, I was still at school.
Yeah, I remember.
I started school, like, it was funny because I was like, any day that we're training, like, boys get the off day, but I was like sitting in class at school. Like, it was actually funny. I used to go into class and everyone used to clap me in because I was like, I was never at school. Like, I was never at school. So, especially my best mates, I would be the one hoorahing, like, oh, this guy's back at school, kind of thing like that. Yeah. But I was never there. But yeah, going back to the game, honestly, it just happened like a blur. I played five games that season. And then I had my foot injury. So,
because we were worried you were going to get hurt.
Yeah.
Because I remember Sonny Bill, when he first started playing, I mean, he used to do a lot of shoulder charges on blokes, and I think you might have even done a couple of shoulder charges over your years. But I remember he got injured a lot because he wasn't a man at that stage. He didn't have man body. You're still developing. And you got not a boy's body, a teenager's body, I guess, because you were still a teenager. And we were concerned, or I was always thinking to myself, I hope this kid doesn't get injured, badly injured. You did your foot.
Yeah, my Liz Frank and my left foot.
It's some weird thing. What is that called?
Oh, it's something from a horse. I don't know, something like that. Like someone tried to explain it to me.
It's some small thing though.
Yeah. It's like a separation in your like foot. So you got bones in your foot, and then a little bit of separation can like do your mischief kind of thing like that. And I was out for like 5 or 6 months. So because I thought to myself, oh God, I hope he hasn't sort of done a permanent injury that's going to keep repeating itself. But when you first played in those first 5 games, did anybody give you a tickle up like our blokes? Come on, get up. No, I was like, I remember one guy I went against was against Penrith. I think it was my third game. I think it was Fisher. I think because I was playing centre at the time, and I'm like, kickoff carries, and then they run, and I'm like, oh, here we
Fish
go.
Harris.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, here we go.
I know.
And he's like looking at me, and I'm like, oh God, here we go. And like, just trying to tackle him, but I've got hit, and he's come over the top, said something, and he's probably just in the game, like, saying something. But I was just like, that was the first time I was like, oh, okay, all right, I'm here. Like, you know what I mean? Like NRL standard kind of thing like that.
Yeah.
But that was good.
Probably good.
Yeah, it was a good thing. Like I needed it, like kind of thing. So
because I remember you nailed a few blokes. I can't remember who specifically now, but you did nail a few blokes, particularly when you're playing out. Might have been out on the wing. You came in and you did hit a few blokes pretty hard in your early stages. Like full front, like just full speed, totally fearless. It was definitely a teenager. Like inexperienced rugby league player, NRL player, but definitely a teenager, fearless. Do you remember doing that? Like, did you pick out blokes? No, here's someone I just want to really put him down.
Like now, because I know like this like system and stuff like that. I know when to like pick my times of like when not to and what to do. When you first come in, it was just like, all right, like who can I smash? Like it was just like
and it was weird.
Yeah, like who can I run at and kill, and who can I like smash kind of thing. And it was just like it was like that. The first couple games in NRL.
Does somebody grab hold of you in the club, in the team, I should say, in your team, and sort of not become your mentor, but like I don't know, sort of your guide? Is there any one particular person?
I'd always say there's always 4 people I've looked up to in the club, and it's always been Jared, Rio Hargraves, Luke Keary, Daniel Tupou, and Joey Manu.
Yeah.
And I feel like I've always gravitated towards them four. I've always, I know I'm real good mates with Daniel. I'm real good mates with all of them.
Yeah,
but yeah. I feel like I've always just taken Joey and Daniel helped me like big time coming in when I was first like during school. Like on take me under their wing and just showing me the ropes and how to like. I knew I could always train and stuff like that, but just the little things you got to know to play in NRL, and I was always just asking them questions, and they were always, good back to me as well. Just just showing me different things and different.
So you got Tubes to talk.
What's that?
You got Tubes to talk.
Yeah, Tubes. Yeah, Tubes talks a lot. He was my roomie this year. So
was he?
Yeah. I'm always that young kid, always just annoying him. So he's one of the best, like one of the best people you've met in your life. He's a great man.
I can't believe that the ones you just named, other than Tubes, have just been resigned, but the others are going.
Mm.
Like and yourself. I mean, it's and then obviously Satilli as well. Although he's going to Canterbury, but the others are sort of going out of the game. Well, two of them are going to England. I mean, I know Jared's going to go. Someone said to me in England in the Super League competition, you can't hit above this part of the chest, like rugby union. And we'll talk about that for you in a moment. But I don't know, Jared. I said to Jared, mate, how are you going to go tackling below though? I said, you'll probably play 3 games for a year. How do you reckon he's going to go?
Yeah. I reckon he'll have a lot of holidays there, I can tell you that.
Yeah, it's like I don't think he's ever tackled below the chest.
Yeah.
I don't ever in his whole career. So you've had a great career, the Roosters. I mean, you've met some great people. You're an extraordinarily important part of how Robbo built the team and our the way we play. You did get selected for Origin. You had 1 game of Origin, but didn't last so long. Can we just quickly talk about that? Was that? I know you don't have any malice in you. I know you don't play with malice. Yeah, I mean, not everyone's like that, but you're one of those people who doesn't have any malice. So I can't imagine when it happened. I can't imagine that you went out there to take his head off. What actually happened? Did he slip under you? Was you just too high? What was it? Error of judgment? What was it?
Like I look back on it now, and even just the whole lead up towards the game, I was very excited.
Yeah,
pumped up. I feel like I learned a lot just about playing in them big games, about, what's my process going into the game kind of thing. I feel like I was very excited, I wanted to go in straight away, get a carry, which I always want to start the game fast.
Is that because that makes you settle down a little bit because you've had a carry or you've done
100%.
a tackle?
Yeah. Every time I go in the game, I'm always trying to find a carry just to get into the game.
Yeah.
I feel like...
Does that settle your nerves down or something?
Yeah, a little bit. I feel like you can go missing in games as well. Like if you're not going to get in, I remember my first couple of NRL games, I'm watching the game. I'm not even playing the game because I'm watching it.
Yeah.
Whereas now I feel like, all right, give me a carry, give me a tackle, get myself involved in the game, and then I'm in the game, kind of thing like that. And that was always a thing I wanted to do in the first game.
Does Madge did he say that type of thing? Does he Joseph? You've got to get in early, get started.
Not really. I feel like it was just I've been working a lot with a sports psych. I feel like, and we always each week would go into a game and be like, all right, how are we gonna target this game, or how are we gonna what's the plan going into it? And it's always been very simple for myself, just all right, get a carry early and get into the game kind of thing. And then with the Origin game, I feel like I did that, got a quick carry, and then my next thing was, all right, let's get involved by making a decision or a tackle. And then I saw Walsh come down the short side, and I had Gussie on my 3-man, and then I'm like, all right, looking back on it, I shouldn't have went. It was Gussie was on my inside, it was in yardage too, so I didn't really need to go.
It should have been his tackle.
Yeah, he would have did and would have went out at the back, and then Gussie, obviously Walsh got speed, but I trust Gussie to get there.
Yeah.
Looking at it now, I shouldn't have went. But I'm always on to back my instinct and my.
So is that an example of you using your instinct over your judgment? And how often do you have to do that in rugby league?
Oh, you got to do it a lot. I feel like you need to have that, your logical, and then you got your instinct kind of thing. And I feel like the more games you play in the NRL, the logical starts to come up a lot. I feel like when you first come in, it's a lot of instinct.
Yeah.
But you still got to keep that instinct. I feel like that's where you get some of the best players in the game. But I feel like if you have a balance between both, that's where you get the best.
Trying to work out where your optimum is.
Yeah. You got to find out what works for you, kind of thing like that. So, going back to the tackle, I should have. not gone, but I did go. I backed my instinct.
And you can't pull
I
out.
can't pull out. Like, I'm not going to pull out. I should have maybe had like smaller feet going into contact if I look back on it.
How do you move small feet?
So when you tackle with your feet, and the best tacklers always have like short feet going into contact. I was covering
Short steps, you mean?
Yeah, short steps. I meant,
Yep.
yeah. But you know, I was covering a big distance, so I should have shorter feet. And then
Can I just on that? Does that mean if you're running towards Walsh, you can take your big steps to get there in time?
Yeah.
But then as you get there, you should shorten your steps down.
shorten your steps up to like, you know, get
What does
your
that allow you to go laterally or?
yeah. Like if you see Stephen Crichton or Joey Manu,
Yeah.
they're very good at, you know, getting to the space and then short feet, and then your last foot should be, you know, if you're going to tackle your right shoulder, then your right foot should be right where they are, kind of
Right.
thing. Whereas if you go big steps, you're going to,
So is that technical?
yeah, it's technical too. And then, yeah, no, back to the tackle. I watched it. He did slip.
He did a bit, yeah.
And then my height, I could have been lower. Like, honestly, I didn't mean to hit him in the head at all.
No.
I didn't mean to hit him in the head at all, but
But you would have liked to hit him in the chest.
yeah, I would have loved to got the chest. Like, if I
Yeah.
had the chest,
Are you thinking that? I want to get him in the chest?
no, honestly, I don't really think that, like I said, about that logical and instinct.
yeah.
I feel like I've been a lot, you know, on that instinct side when I play. Yeah, and I feel like it was just honestly, it was just an accident. Like, I didn't really.
Yeah, no.
Obviously, I'll go into a game saying, I want to play with an intensity and blah blah blah. But yeah, when I hit him in the head, it was just like, I didn't know if I was going to get. I didn't know I got him flush on the head until I got back and I saw it
So
on the
replay.
replay, and I was like, I didn't know I was going to get sent off. He made the right call. Like, at the end of the day, he made the right call of sending me off.
Well, how did you feel? Like what's the feeling that goes through you when he goes,
yeah.
Joseph, come over here?
Yeah, like, I thought, like, I don't know, a slight chance of I was going to get like 10 minutes or something like
Yeah.
that. But I knew, like, you know, once you've done something, you're just like, yeah, you get sent off and then you kind of walk in the change rooms, and then the first thing you think about is the team.
Yeah.
Because you train that whole 10-day camp just to get to this game, and you want to win. Like, you want to win. That's how I feel. And then yeah, you just felt like you let a lot of people down. I feel like I let the team down, and then that was the main thing. I felt like I let the team down. And
what do they say to you when?
No, I was very
don't worry?
comforting. Like, everyone was very.
Yeah.
They knew, like, I was like very like disappointed, kind of thing like that. So they knew, like, all right, get around him. There's still 2 more games. There was still 2 more games. So everyone was very.
What does Madge say?
Madge said the same thing. Like,
Yeah.
he didn't mean to, like, to go for his head. So, like, it wasn't a thing of anyone getting angry, or it was actually very. Madge brought me into like the camp for game 2, and then put me in extended bench for Origin 3 as well. So
I saw that.
yeah, which was very good, just to be still part of the the New South Wales. So even though I only played a couple of minutes, but
By the way, and prior to that, actually, you went to Vegas.
yeah,
Can we talk about Vegas?
yeah.
How good was that?
That was bad.
I was there. It was unreal
was-
for me. I was a spectator, but like, how good was it for you as a player?
Oh, like, even just the whole lead up, because we went to LA.
Yep.
We're also
UCLA.
Yeah, UCLA. We're training there. I feel like it was one of the best experiences I've had in my life.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Just like, I've always loved traveling. That was always a thing of like myself. I've always loved traveling and just try, like, I know the world's big, so I've always wanted to experience different things, and being able to go to UCLA and train there. What else did we do? We went, I think, the Raiders facility. We trained there. Went to an NBA basketball game. Watched LeBron play. I'm one of my favorite players.
Wow.
Watched LeBron play like live. That was cool too. But I just experienced it with like your best mates as well. I feel like that's just, even like going to dinners and stuff like that. It's just like, yeah, you look back at it now and you're just like, man, it was pretty good. Like,
And I guess I really can't go past it. I have to raise it before I get on to the rugby union. But Nick, what would you say about Nick? I mean, everyone, I often refer to Uncle Nick and all that sort of stuff, the Godfather of Rugby League, blah, blah. But what was your experience with Nick Politis, our chairman?
I first met Nick when I was, 17. I was deciding to come where I wanted to go. I was going to go Union or stay at Rabbitohs or come to the Roosters. And then I remember I was sitting down. I went to Nick's house in near the Opera House, and went up. I was like, oh, this is nice. Like, this is nice. This is cool. Like, I've never been to one of these fancy houses before, but I think straight away, like, Nick doesn't say too much, but he's very, like, same thing as my parents. He's very, like, confident in the way he, approaches you, your parents. It's all about family, like, for him, and he's always included myself, but it's always been my family too, and I feel like that's always hit home for myself. And I think, Nick's always just, if you need a hand with anything, you always know Nick's always there for, not just for yourself, but your family, and which is the biggest part of why I gravitated towards coming towards the Roosters, because I just knew straight away within, meeting Nick and Robbo, it was just, that was the first two things. But Nick, well, honestly, he's a great man. Doesn't say too much, but he's very, back to the word, comforting.
Yeah. Yeah, well, but he treats the club like a family.
Yeah, like the whole club,
every player,
every player, not just to myself, just like every player and their family. He's the whole squad, and I think like the best thing we talk about as a crew, the Roosters, even just like we'll go for midweek lunches or midweek dinners, and he would take us out for dinner, and we're talking to the board, like boys would say other clubs, they wouldn't even meet their board, kind of thing like that, and then we always say like, man, like we get to go, dinners, like, a Tuesday week, just go to dinner and meet the whole board. And, Nick's like, he's always looking after it, kind of thing like that. And it's just like, I don't feel like many organizations have that. I'm not sure, I haven't been to any other different, or I'm about to, but I feel like, everyone having that relationship with Nick, obviously everyone knows him, but like I feel like us boys get to know him I think
that's right, because most people don't really know him.
Yeah,
I feel like what they read about him.
Yeah, we get a great thing because we see him each week. Like every couple of weeks, when we go for dinner, we always see him there,
and he doesn't miss a game.
No, and he's always
and then there's the dinners he holds down the road from our studio down the road there, and he knows what everyone's family's doing too, and he's interested.
Yeah, he's always asking how the families are. He's a genuine man. Yeah, I think with Nick, even though you read the things about what Nick has and blah blah blah, he's a good human. First of all.
And what about Robbo?
Robbo, yeah, he's a good man. Robbo,
yeah. You can't. I mean, what has he done for you?
He he brought me in when I was young, like 17, and he's always he's taught me the tough way of footy first.
What does that mean?
The hard carries, the yardage carries. What else? Just learning like the off ball kind of things. Like I feel like when you're young, you don't really think about that stuff. The effort areas, all that. I feel like that's the biggest thing that Robbo's taught myself in that aspect. But even just off the field, he's taught me a lot about. In a spiritual sense.
Totally. Not many people know that about him, but he's very spiritual.
Very spiritual, and I feel like I've learned a lot. I've always loved that spiritual stuff. I love learning as much as I can and just seeing what works for me, and I feel like he's, brought a lot of that into my life, which I'm grateful for.
Because I mean, are you religious in your family?
Yeah, parents, Christian, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of the Pacific Islanders are very religious. I mean, some of the clubs you see them even praying before they go into the game. Is your family very religious?
Yeah,
is that an important part of your life?
Yeah. So my dad's old man, my grandpa in Samoa, he's a pastor over there. So he's always praying for us and all that. I grew up going to church a lot, but I haven't really been lately. I would say for me personally.
Your dad's listening to this. So.
I know. I should be.
He's going to go. Don't worry.
Yeah, I'll be there.
He's going to go. He's don't worry. He's not going to trash anything. He's going to go. Let's talk about rugby union. Come on.
Yeah.
So, obviously they headhunted you or hunted you to go to rugby union. And there's no secret. You're getting paid a lot of money, particularly compared to what you get paid in rugby league. And they've recruited you as a to some extent, what it looks like is someone who may be able to save the side, because Australia's not doing well in rugby union. We haven't been doing well. First it was Waratahs, and now it's well done. You're in the Australian side. Do you feel pressure? Because there'll be other players who won't be getting this amount of money. Your new kid on the block come from rugby league. Admittedly, you played rugby union, you played it at school, and no one doubts your ability. But your credentials aren't there yet as a rugby union player. Your ability's there, your credentials are there as a rugby league player. is that add pressure to you?
I think first thing, the money. I feel like I don't play the game because of money. I've always the reason I wanted to go was always I wanted to play in a Lions tour. Like I was always
We're going to play against the Poms.
Yeah. Like when I was because every 12 years it happens, the Lions tour, and I remember sitting there as a kid, and I was like, all right, this is what I want to do one day is playing a Lions
really?
tour.
Wow.
Yeah, I remember like as a kid, I watched it on TV. I watched when Flair made his debut. I watched it when Curly Bill had to kick the winner and he slipped, and I remember sitting there and I was like burning. I was like, I still remember to this day, and I was like, all right, nah, like one day, like I will play in the Lions tour, and it's always.
So is the Lions tour coming up?
Yeah. So next year,
Next year, right,
2025, and then the other thing was the Home World Cup in 2027. And even that, like just a Home World Cup. The last time I was here was 2003, and that's when I was born. And then even just that for itself, and I was just like, the experience you're gonna have, playing
And travel.
I was like, this is like once in a lifetime kind of thing, and I'm like, especially while playing, I was like, this is what I'm gonna do one day, and then.
Is it just like a Sonny Bill Williams moment, I mean, obviously he went and played for the All Blacks, but is that similar sort? Do you think it's a similar sort of feeling? And do people like him reach out to you and say, "Hey, mate, this is the sort of stuff you should look out for"?
Oh, what to go to Union kind of thing?
Yeah.
No, obviously I've got like a lot of support, like Izzy, Sonny Bill.
Yeah.
I always know I have him in my corner to go for advice and stuff like that. But it was funny even before I started playing rugby league. When I come to the Roosters, I've always had like a vision plan of what I wanted to do for the next 8. Like I've always known what I wanted to do
Strategically.
Yeah, like I'd sit,
Wow.
like I sat down and I was like, this is what I want to do. This is what I want to do. Like each year,
Like as an achievement.
yeah, like kind of like goal setting
Or experience. Goal setting?
Yeah,
experiences?
it's like goal setting, but also like a vision plan of like I would sit down and be like, this is what I want to do in my life, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I always knew that I wanted to play in the Lions to win a World Cup. And yeah,
Is there a grand final at rugby league?
oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, that was my thing. I had Union come ask me if I wanted to come there last year because I had an option in my deal.
Yeah.
But I was always
And you exercise your option in favour of the Roosters.
the favourite Roosters because in my head I was like,
This is the year.
This is the year. Like burns me that we didn't get there, but in my head, like obviously I want to win a premiership. That's always been it honestly burns me. It still burns me that we got to the
But you're only 21.
I know that, but like it's just like anyway. It actually it's just the thing of winning a premiership. I've always that was always a thing I've really wanted to do.
So like, are you someone then who has your goals and you like to be able to go through and methodically tick them off and sort of say, I want to play at NRL. I mean, you sort of got selected for Origin, but you haven't had a full game, so that's probably something still up there.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah. It's always I've always been a dream big guy. I've always written down things of like, this is what I'm going to do, and then I'd write them down, and then that's why I've been working a lot with my sports side because I've always been just dreaming about different things, but I need to work on the process of getting there, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And
as opposed to being a dreamer.
Yeah, dreamer. I've always been like a dreamer, but
you got to have the dream. That's important.
100%.
But you got to achieve it too.
Yeah, you got to achieve it too. And I feel like now I've changed my mentality of being like goal driven to all right, want to be more process driven kind of thing.
Yeah. Because the goal you can dream up in a day, but the process can take years.
100%. Yeah, I feel like I love now, or I'm like, all right, taking it by day instead of being like, all right, we're going to win the premiership. It's like, all right, how can I get better each day kind of thing.
And would you think rugby union can help you become better, say, at rugby league even?
Yeah, 100%. I feel like
well, you're only young.
Yeah, I feel like my kicking game will get better.
I mean, kicking game is pretty good already. Your goal kicking game especially.
Yeah, it's actually, it's gotten better.
You did pretty good this year.
Yeah, it's been good. I used to honestly stay a whole day at park, like at Ecklemore Park. We have a field called Chadstown Reserve. I used to go there the whole day. Like, I wouldn't even eat. Like, I would go there the whole day, like, because my parents always drive to get like groceries or something. They would know where I was because I was just always practicing. And then when the opportunity came, the goal kicker, I was like, oh, sweet, I've been doing this, I had a couple shockers at the start, like getting used to, crowd and getting to the process of kicking it. But now I feel like I'm very confident, going to Union too. I feel like I want to kick, like a goal kick as well. And I feel like that the skill of, learning how to kick left foot, right foot, spiral pass, your skill's got to be great to play in rugby union.
Yeah.
I feel like that's one of my strengths, being able to, my skill. I've always loved working on my skill. But I feel like that's what I can bring, say if I play rugby league one day again, I feel like that's what I can bring as well.
Well, we're expecting you to play rugby league on one day again, as you know. Union can have you for a little while. Yeah. We're expecting you to come back. We want you back anyway. The Roosters, that is, I'm talking about. And I think the game of rugby league wants you back too. And I think Origin would like you back. And I'm no doubt the Australian side would like to have you back too, But let's just talk about your rugby union, what to expect in terms of rugby union. So people like Gus, Phil Gould, not Angus, but Phil Gould, they all had a pretty big crack at you. It was pretty controversial. Young bloke too. You're only 20, I think, at the time when you signed it. How did you sort of process that shit? Like, especially when someone like Phil Gould says something.
Yeah.
Here's the door, show him the door, let him go. Like,
I respect Phil, like what he's done for rugby league. Yeah. He's done a lot, like, for the game. He's built, Penrith, even now, like with the Dogs.
Yeah.
But I've always seen it. I was like, I don't take it personally, kind of thing like that, because it's just. He's heard the question. He's going to make it about. He's not having an attack at me. He's having an attack at
rugby union.
You know what I mean? So I've always seen it in the fact of like, all right, I'm not gonna take it personally. I'm just gonna take it as, Phil was just having a reaction towards something that's not doing towards me. And I felt like I've always been good at dealing with things like that. And then, like, if I see him on the street today, I'll still go shake his hand and go talk to him and stuff like that, because I have no hard feelings of what. Yeah. I don't feel like he said anything bad anyway. So
well, Peter V'landers sort of said you're going to get bored and you'll come back to rugby league anyway. And of course, that didn't go down very well in the rugby union world. But I've had people sitting in that chair, ex-rugby union players, the current coach of Randwick, Stevie Hoyles, who basically said rugby union's got a problem. And Australian rugby union, I'm talking about probably at every level, but at the Australian, at the not so much at the club level, because he said the club level is pretty good. It's alive and it's booming. But at the elite level, we're not doing that well. And to some extent, it nearly looks like by signing you up, it looked like a poach. They poached you out, one of the, the up-and-coming rugby league players, a young guy who has had rugby union experience, like a bit of a superstar. They've plucked you out, poached you out of the rugby league system to try and improve the rugby union system. And therefore it's nearly an admission that there's a problem by the top administration at the time, by the way. It's not now. It's a different administration now, not the same administration. Nearly like an admission. You watch rugby union, obviously. Do you feel as though that they need to? I mean, we need to change the results. That's for sure.
Yeah, 100%.
They're shitty results, and they're not results Australians are proud of.
Yeah, no, 100%.
We've got the new coach. Do you feel as though rugby union needs to improve? And if so, what have they got to do? Like, what do you think the issue is? Is it recruitment?
When I look, like, we all play like GPS rugby. A lot of league boys do. And then, when you're 16, 17, like, boys are trying to see, like, where am I going to get, signed to? And the league clubs always come. Obviously, I think it's starting to change now too. I think Gussie was the first, Angus Crichton was one of the first players to be like, I'm not going to play. I'm not going to wait till I'm 21 to play. I want to play when I'm 18. I feel like that was the case back then. I feel like it's changed a lot now. I think this year they signed a lot of the under-18s boys that played in
Freddie's boy.
Yeah, Freddie's boy. They've signed a lot of players in the the Wallabies under-18s. I feel like they signed most of them, except one or two. But I don't know. I feel like it's not for me to be like, how the organisation is going to change. I feel like I'm going to leave that to them. I feel like what I can bring, towards, the Waratahs first and then the Wallabies, like, I feel like that. I'm not going to say, but I want to change everything. But I'm saying, I feel like, by me, helping, other players, helping myself, I feel like just.
Do you think it'll encourage other younger blokes? you being there and say, okay, I'm not going to go to rugby league, or I'm not going to go to AFL, or whatever the case may be. I'm going to continue on the rugby union path because Joseph's there.
You know what? I hope, because I feel like when we do play this spring tour and the Lions tour and a home World Cup, I feel like a lot of kids are going to be inspired to one day I want to play in a green and gold jersey or Waratahs jersey. I feel like that's the biggest grab coming into this next 3 or 4 years. I feel like that's probably the biggest thing for, Australian rugby. We do win games and we see the young kids in the crowd, or the, 15, 16-year-olds being like, all right, this is what I want to do one day. I feel like that's the biggest.
And do you feel like as though you have an obligation to sort of draw these younger kids along, because at some stage you already become a sort of a senior, not a senior rugby union player, but you're certainly getting into that sort of league senior area in terms of years. Like someone who might inspire younger blokes to follow through in the rugby union?
Yeah, I feel like I love that responsibility.
Yeah.
I feel like, I love that. I feel like I'm a good guy off the field. And then once I'm on the field, I'm trying to win. I feel like that's anything not winning. I'm not going to walk past. I'll do everything in my will and my time to be like, everything's towards, all right, how can we win this training session on Tuesday leading up to the game?
Win a training session. How do you mean? How do you win a training session?
Well, like for me personally, I'd be like, how am I going to prepare for the day? Like I'd wake up the right way. I'd wake up, I'd get my good hour of sleep, be in my routine so I'm best for that training session, and I'm set, like I feel like setting the standard for, not setting the standard. I know everyone has their own processes of what they do, but if I'm best at my training session, I feel like that's just going to help towards the game, kind of thing like that.
It's funny you should say that, because I remember years ago when Sonny Bill came back to the Roosters, someone told me, I can't remember who it was, it might have been the coach, but said that Sonny got in before everybody else. And I remember hearing stories about you getting in before everybody else too, and coming in by train. From your family's home when you're at school.
Yeah.
But Sonny came in before everybody else. He had a clipboard and he was there doing video sessions before everyone else got in. And he was there taking notes the whole training session. And what I was told is that everyone else is watching him and the whole standard lifted of everybody.
Yeah.
And no one asked him to do that. That's just his natural sort of perfectionist sort of personality. Are you that type of person?
Yeah, I feel like I'm not a person to go tell, you should do this, do that to anyone else. I've always just been, focused on what I do. I feel like I get in early. I feel like my preparation's always been for myself. I've always seen that as a big thing of how I can, prepare for the game in, visualizing or, stretching, or I've always found like there's a whole thing that goes around footy, just training and, passing the ball, blah, blah, blah. I feel like there's a lot of things that you need to put towards the game. And I feel like,
Do you have like a process? I mean, let's pick at any one day. You've got to go to training and let's say there's a big game coming up on Friday night or Saturday. What would you be your routine on a training day? Like, would you get up at 5 o'clock, or what do? You go for an extra run? Yeah.
So say like I'm in season. I'd get up early. First of all, try to get everything, your mental state right. I'd go.
Well, what do you do for that? Meditate?
Wake up. I'd go for have a cold shower. Then I'd go for a walk and try to take in, like, I'm a pretty weird dude. I feel like I take in like nature, like trees. Yeah. Blah, blah, blah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, and then like walk down, go to a park and just sit there for 15 to 20 minutes and just sit and just like, everyone has a different way of meditating. Yep. I feel like I just sit there and just visualize the day. Like, how can I be best for the day?
Yep.
Kind of thing.
Is that before you eat?
Before I eat, all that. And then I'll get my journal. I've journaled every day. And I'll write.
Journal?
Yeah.
Actually write stuff out?
Yeah, write stuff out. Of like, I wouldn't say like, write it like, oh, this is why I'd write like what I want to do today, and then set my energy towards different things. And then what else would I do? I'd manifest different things as well about just the day, instead of, because I've always been that,
planner.
that dream dude. I've always like, all right, how am I going to attack today right now?
Did you get help to learn how to do this? You taught you had a sports psychologist help you out?
I feel like just a beginning of just reading different things, listening to different podcasts, and then I've tried a lot of things and it just hasn't worked out. I feel like it chops and changes all the time too. Don't get me wrong. I feel like not one set routine is going to be for the rest of my career.
Yeah.
I feel like,
but this works for you at the moment.
At the moment, this is what works for me right now, and I feel like that's just doing my process each day helps me go, all right, this is how I'm going to take the day, and then get the training. I feel like I get there early, and then start. It just depends what we have, kind of thing like that, and then start like stretching, and then I feel like different things I've learned from my trainer and different people, and then just combine that all, and then once I know I step on the field, like I'm ready to go.
Are you strict on diet, like the mini style diet?
I feel like some
of the boys are like Angus is like
yeah.
They're really strict.
I feel like there's a couple of times, like when I first come in, I didn't really know about different foods and that.
Nutrition.
When you go up, you just eat what's on the table, like kind of thing like that. You don't really,
especially being a boarder.
Yeah. And when you're a boarder too, like, I feel like you just eat school food, and then I feel like the more you learn about like grass fed, like organic foods, I feel like that's like now in my diet. But at the same time, I feel like there's a balance between what you need to do, because you can't be just straight the whole time. You gotta
mix it up.
Sometimes.
Yeah,
and I
have
feel
a cheat
like,
day.
Yeah, that's the best. I feel like that's the best thing. I've had some times where I've been too straight on and just like, this is what I'm going to do. I'm not going to touch anything else. And then I feel like you got to have freedom somewhere in your life as well. And I feel like that's the best way of doing it for myself. Anyone else is different. Some people could be different, but for myself,
that works for you.
It works for me.
Yeah, but have you ever? Probably haven't played enough years, but have you ever off the preseason gone to the fat squad?
No. I feel like I've always.
So you're a drinker?
No, I don't drink.
You don't drink?
No, I've actually never had a sip of alcohol
at all.
Ever?
Really?
Yeah. No, never.
You're not interested, or?
My parents never drank. And I've never seen them drink growing up, and I've always had fun without it, kind of thing. Like, I'll go out, like I'll go out still, and I'll always, I feel like another person who helped me a lot was Joey Manu. Like he doesn't drink. He's very comfortable in his own skin. And then once I first come in the NRL and I saw him doing that too, and I was like, oh, I'm going to do it.
That's my bro.
Yeah, that's my bro. You know what I mean? I'm going to do what he's going to do. So kind of thing. So
that's amazing though. So that's interesting, because the amount of influence someone like Joey Manu has had on you, and then you will have on others.
Yeah.
Down the trail.
Yeah, it's funny. Like Joey doesn't say too much, but I feel like myself. Like, well, I don't say a lot too. I feel like we kind of just pick up on, but I observe. I feel like myself. I feel like I observe a lot. Seeing what other boys do, or even like say Daniel Tupou, like he stretches a lot, and I'll see like what he's doing, so I can, and he would do a lot of ice baths and recovery. I'm like, okay, I know that's why he's been playing for so long. Obviously other things as well, but I'm like, all right, this is what I'm going to pick up on, and then see different people doing different things, and then you just like, I feel like that's one of my strengths as well, just observing and seeing how I can add it to myself.
Well, that's interesting. You're sort of like taking out of the system what's best.
Yeah.
And trying it.
Yeah.
And seeing if it works.
Yeah, 100%.
And if it works, stick to it. If it doesn't work, discard it and get on to something else.
Yeah. Even like Lindsay's very strict with his diet.
Yeah.
I always ask, like, sometimes I would ask him, or I ask people around him and be like, oh, what's he, you know what I mean? And just quickly, just like observe and then try it, see if it works. And then, I feel like that's just life.
It's funny, I asked Lindsay about that, and he said to me, he's strict, and he said to me, mate, I'm playing up front row. He said, I've got to give myself my best possible chance. He said, so one thing I can control is my diet.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Although Olakau'atu sort of laid him out last Friday night. That was the best hit of all time.
He's got him 3 times, I reckon, now. But
he's got Lindsay 3 times.
Yeah, well, he got us in the semi-final. We got him twice in that game, and then got him in the
test match.
But Lindsay, he's always getting up and then keep on going.
He's a bit of a beast.
If that was me, I'd be like,
He's a beast at Olakau'atu. He's giant.
Yeah, he's giant.
He's giant.
Huge. He's honestly like, even in Origin Chem, was like, this guy's huge.
His timing's good too for such a big man.
Yeah, he's got good time. He's got like good feet going into contact as well, and just his height, and then he's just power. So,
Joseph, we're at the end now, and you've done a great job too, by the way. So you didn't need to be nervous in the beginning. No. So, because you're a natural at this, and you're a good speaker, you're a good talker. You know your stuff. What is the most exciting thing now that's ahead of you? like just now? What are you thinking about not today, but not this minute, but like right now in your life? What's the most exciting thing that's ahead of you? What are you really excited about?
What am I excited about? I'm 21 now. I feel like I'm very confident in my skin. I know who I am. I know like I'm loved from my family. I feel like I'm very excited for, rugby wise as well. I'm very excited to get to travel the world. I feel like I'm just going to grow a lot in this, next 3-4 years. I feel like I'm going to grow into I feel like I'm a man now. I feel like I went from a kid to a man at the Roosters, and I feel like I've learned a lot from, mentors, Luke Keary, Jared, and then Daniel and Joey. I feel like I've learned so much from them, and I'm grateful for all the friendships I've made there. But I feel like I'm going on my next path, my journey with rugby, and I feel like what can I say? I feel like I'm a man in a sense of like, I'm going to attack every moment that I'm going to get, like playing rugby wise, or I'm going to, I feel like the skills I've learned and will learn will, help me on the footy field and off the field. I feel like I've got I'm very excited just what's to come with rugby. But yeah, I feel like even just off the field, it's a good age from 24 to 21 to like in my next 3-4 years of my life is very exciting off the field and on the field as well.
And you've been pretty lucky. I think you've only had one major injury.
Yeah, I've had one major injury.
So you've been pretty lucky in that. Not lucky. You obviously got the physicality not to get injured. You're probably also doing all the right things, and probably not drinking probably helps. I think anyway. If you quite possibly you could play to your 34, 35, play either reunion or come back to league.
Yeah.
No, but you could.
Yeah.
There's no reason why not.
Yeah.
And union you won't get knocked about as much. I mean, you're sort of playing out wide. You're not doing hit ups.
And, no yardage carries.
Yeah, you won't be doing any yardage carries. So, which means that'll preserve you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that seems to me like quite a clever, strategically quite smart if you want to build a long career, because when you stop playing footy, whichever code you're playing, you got to do something after that. Have you thought about what do I do after all that? I know it's a big call. You're only 21. You're only just in the middle of it all. But have you thought about that?
I was actually thinking about that. I feel like I haven't. I tried uni for like a week, and I was very. I was like a Zoom class. I sat in it and I was like, nah, this is not for me. But
at the
moment, no, don't get me wrong. My mum's always saying to me like, all right, uni, you got to think about things outside of footy. I feel like footy takes a lot. Do you know what I mean? Like of energy of, like if you're off days, you think about how can I recover? How can I do this? How can I do that? How can I do that? But also I feel like, having something else can, play a role in, having that slow part of being away from footy. But I haven't had anything that's really, come to me yet.
And nothing really excited you yet.
Yeah, nothing's really. I don't mind learning about like property and stuff like that. I feel like I've learned a little bit of that.
Yeah.
I feel like
because Lindsay's just done his mortgage course.
Yeah, I think he has,
and Kez Luke Keary's done a couple of university degrees. And these boys are they're much older than you, but they've thought about what they're going to do post footy. They've obviously got families and stuff too. They got kids. Both of them got kids. They're thinking about those processes, and you're way nowhere near that at this stage. But at some stage, I guess it's important that you do think about these sort of things, and it's good that you just start to mull it over. But do your parents, they say, Joseph, what happens if you get injured? Or Joseph?
My parents are real cruisy in a sense. Like they trust me.
On.
Yeah, they trust me because they know I've always been like just driven to do. Like, sometimes I live on myself, so sometimes I sit. I'm like, what am I gonna do? Like, you know what I mean? Like besides footy kind of thing, but. I feel like I love, like meeting people, and then, I wouldn't mind, say I meet someone and then, try their industry, or like just try different things. Work, like being experience it. I feel like the paper and pen has never been
your territory.
Not my territory. So I feel like
well, you never went to school because you're always playing footy.
Yeah, I was always playing footy. I was never at school, even in primary school.
Yeah, so I'm saying, year 12, you're playing in 4 different sides.
Yeah, so I feel like. That's where my journey is going to go.
Yeah.
Where Yeah, well, I always said it. If I wasn't playing footy, I feel like I'd be traveling, staying in hostels and, meeting different people and stuff like that. So I feel like something with travel or something. Yeah, I feel like
That's mad. Like you really love that idea of travel.
Yeah. I've always loved just, I'll do things by myself. Like obviously I love my mates and I love my family, but I've always had that thing of like nothing's holding me back from, say if someone wants to go. Sometimes, people don't want to go to movies because I want to go with friends. I'm like, I'll go to movies by myself. I'm just like, I'm very comfortable in my own skin, and I'm just like, if I want to do something in my life, I'm going to do it. Like I'm not going to let nothing hold me back from doing it.
And you must feel quite free.
Yeah, like I'd go sit down, like I'd always eat breakfast by myself. I'd always eat lunch or dinner. But obviously I love being around my mates. But I'm just like, I'm very open to anyone wants to chat. But I'll sit there and, if someone wants to chat to me, I'll chat to them. But like, I'm very...
You're not a narc.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you're quite happy to be on your own.
Yeah, I'm happy to be on my own. Like I'm happy to go,
That's a massive freedom though, Joseph. Like to be able to be that person. Some people feel like they have to be attached to people all the time.
Yeah, like I've traveled to like Japan like for 2 weeks by myself. I just went to Hamilton Island for myself for like 5 or 6 days. Yeah, but I'm not saying I love hanging around my mates and my family, but I do love having my own time. That's what I would. That's what I'd be doing if I wasn't playing footy. I'd be traveling the world, staying at different hostels, meeting different people, trying to learn different languages. That's what I want to do. Learn different languages.
There you go. Well, that sounds like a really free-spirited person.
Yeah.
You're really free-spirited.
Yeah,
like, as an individual.
Yeah. I feel like I am. Yeah.
Well, mate, you've done us all proud. Your mum and dad and your family are really proud. Everyone at the Roosters is really excited for you. Looking forward to your new career. We're also looking forward to you coming back. But and it's been a delight for us to have you around in our environment. And Joseph Akuso Suaalii.
Yeah, Suaalii.
Thanks very much for coming on, mate. Thanks for coming
thank you very
Straight
much.
Talk.
Thanks for having me.
It's been awesome talk.
Appreciate it.